I found a VHS of a bodybuilding contest I did 30 years ago. Between 1976 and 1996, I may have done three or four physique competitions. This last one, I was in the best shape of my life. I didn't win, but that really wasn't the point. The point was to get in the best shape of my life. You'll have to forgive the photo and video quality. These are literally taken by pointing my current phone at the TV screen hooked up to a 30-year-old VHS player with 30-year-old cables playing a 30-year-old VHS tape. That's me on the far left. I don't know how it works now, but then the actual competition was during the day, and they had all the competitors on stage at the same time doing the same poses. And it was pretty obvious that I wasn't being considered because I was never called out for direct comparisons. At the night show, everyone did their individual routine. Here's mine without music because of copyright issues when posting. I used an instrumental by Stuart Copeland of the Police from the original Equalizer TV show. Now, those first two poses are clearly influenced by Mike Mentzer because he was the only guy I remembered who could show the sartorius muscle running from the inside of the front hip to the inside of the knee, which I show a hint of here. Next is the Frank Zane pose. Pretty gaudy biceps cuts, if I say so myself, but that ruptured a few years later, so it was nice knowing you. Another Zane pose. That leg posture, I believe, is called contrapposto from art and sculpture, and I always thought it was a better look than standing flat footed. But what it really does is mask any asymmetry to your legs, so if one calf is larger than the other, it's not as noticeable. Not mine. Mine were perfectly symmetrical. Sort of a twisting half lat spread single rear biceps with some hamstring and calf that I probably took from a Zane video. This was a Menser, a variation of the most muscular pose. Instead of fists, the crossed wrists make it a little less belligerent. And back to Zane. The lunge double biceps was the first picture I saw of Zane in a book called Here's Power for You. I practiced this a lot so I could get to the lunge and then to the twisting half kneeling pose without falling on my ass. I don't remember where this pose came from, but I wanted to get that leg pose in, showing the quads, calves, and hamstrings. Probably Menser influenced. Zane again. One of the things I did to create an illusion of a V shape was to keep my rib cage expanded and at the same time just tighten my abs enough to show some ridges. Most of the other guys just cramped down on their abdomen like they were constipated, which they probably were. I don't know where this bit came from, where I squeezed the shoulder blades together to show traps in detail and then spread them into a double biceps. There was a picture of Leon Brown in the original pumping iron that I had in mind, and I practiced with a video recorder in my basement, so I tried different things to see the transitions and such. A Mensur on the left, a Zane on the right that flowed nicely into each other. My arm looks thicker than my waist. Those days are gone. And the final sequence, a conventional most muscular and an ab vacuum, which both Mensur and Zane used. I did the left first because I was exhaling as much as possible, and then I closed the airway, lifted my arms and ribs, and tried to inhale. Since the closed airway creates the vacuum, everything pulls up and in as opposed to inhaling with an open airway and your chest and abdomen expand. Now, in the video, I finished by bending over and tapping the floor, which I think was to hide the discomfort I was in. I had just done a couple of minutes of heavy isometric exercise, flexing every muscle, keeping my face calm. I want to huff and puff. And then I choose to do this complex pose involving not breathing. So rather than take a knee on stage, I tapped the floor and got out of sight. And that was that. Within a few years of this, I ruptured my right biceps and triceps, and then years later, also tore my rotator cuff, all of which led me into a very different direction. Moment arm exercise, congruent exercise, and joint friendly fitness. I'll elaborate on the training and diet I used in the newsletter, but please feel free to leave any questions in the comments below.